sound means?
Means we're back in the back corner once again.
Welcome back to the Dozens.
And the Dozens.
We are glad you're here. It is episode 57. BC. Look at us.
I don't know why, but just the last couple of episodes, when I look at the number, I'm starting to have that, like, how are we this far in?
Yeah, we're getting old.
That's well over 100 hours.
The next year,
of
next
us
season,
just sitting here.
We'll have to do something big for the 100th episode.
Oh, we will probably hit 100 next.
Yeah.
Oh, we do. Do we get? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we are.
We might just short.
We might
Who
be just short.
Depends when we decide to come back.
That's true.
Yeah.
I believe the people want you back.
The people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe we'll
we
see.
We hear them.
The people have been entertained.
Create a false demand.
Are
get
you
people
not
writing in. Like
Yes.
those shows that get canceled, and then people do the big write-in campaign.
Yeah.
There we go.
They come back.
Totally. We'll do
Yeah.
a big, like, we got canceled, and people will start sending crates of molasses to the King's Church office demanding that we're...
It's never good after. It's never as good after it gets canceled, though. Like
No,
remember
it
Arrested
loses the
Development?
mojo. Yeah. No, I didn't watch it.
It was like before it got canceled, it was hilarious.
Awkward humor just doesn't get me.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I don't like that and The Office. I would not say they aren't funny, because so many people whose sense of humor I respect find them funny. But for me, I got about 3 minutes of that, and I'm like, I get it. He said a thing that is social. Maybe it's because I lack social skills, and so it just doesn't hit me as weird as it does other people, because I'm like, I don't know.
Because you're that awkward guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, a little bit.
That
yeah.
explains a lot. I get that.
Yeah, no,
100%.
hey, look, 10 years in a tiny Christian school, no social development whatsoever. You could say my
Couched
development
in
was arrested.
Sussex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. Of course, we are gearing up towards our finale.
Yeah, season finale. It's going to be another barn burner.
Yeah.
With the missuses.
Yes.
Whatever the plural of missus is.
The Missai?
The Magi.
I don't know.
The Anunnaki. Have you ever heard of them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What are we talking about? Of course I've heard of the Anunnaki.
They might come up in a future.
Have you heard of the Anunnaki?
I don't ruin it. I think we got to talk about them in a future episode.
I have referenced them before on this podcast.
Have you?
Yeah.
But have we done a deep dive?
No.
No, I think we got to deep dive those.
I'm pretty sure the name has been uttered.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that another day.
Them and dragons versus dinosaurs. We bumped up against. We talked about dragons before, but not in relationship to dinosaurs.
True.
Teasers for the next few episodes. The back corner. Make sure that you're here. And yeah.
But we want your questions for the season finale. So we got our wives here. So it's a great chance to do some Q&A.
Indeed, we do.
Send them in. Put them on the YouTubes, on the Spotify. You can email them in. Whatever. Get it to us, and we'll bring it to the back corner for the season finale. Maybe, if it's a good question.
I mean, let's be honest. We're asking you to help provide us with good questions, not just questions.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got to bring your A game. But if we think it'd be fun to talk about, or potentially, I mean, I will say, although I don't really get into awkward humor, I do love awkward questions. I just love the social tension of them. So, if it's one of those questions that's just going to make somebody feel uncomfortable, but not so uncomfortable they're offended, that might make it on. We'll see.
Fair enough. Well, let's introduce our guest today in the back corner.
Lynsey Foster originally hails from world-famous Lincolnton, North Carolina, but now calls the St. John area of New Brunswick her home. She has a soothing accent that makes everybody think she likes them, and most of them are right. Lynsey walked away from a glamorous career as a clam harvester to follow the call of Jesus on her life, and now serves as the assistant pastor of Recovery Ministries here at King's Church. There may have been a few stops in between those two things. She is the wife of Donne, the mother of Hadley, the wrangler of many a hurt, habit, and hang-up, and the most current guest in the back corner. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm, but still not as warm as where she grew up, welcome to Pastor Lynsey Foster!
Never disappoints.
Wild
Never disappoints. He's really.
I had to do research for that one. I had no idea about that.
He clearly researched my Facebook page.
Lincolnton.
I read up to the top 3 inches of your Facebook page to discover.
Lincolnton. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's world famous.
Where is it near?
It's smack dab in between Hickory and Gastonia. And
Gonna
if you
have
don't
to
know
go-
what
gonna have
those
to
are,
go
then you'll go out a little
broader.
further, and it's like northwest of Charlotte, North Carolina.
I know
I can do
About
Charlotte or
45
Raleigh.
minutes from Charlotte.
I know that
High Point.
Gastonia exists.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it on a map. I could
No.
find North Carolina, but I couldn't get any more specific
None of
than
those
that.
places are much bigger than St. John or even like Yeah, St. John would probably be the best.
How big is Lincolnton?
Lincolnton is bigger than Sussex, but not as big as St. John.
Well, there's a pretty huge gap in
Right.
between there.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's because it all
Hampton's
melts
salt
into it. It's like we don't have like these giant, like,
Totally.
when you go from Sussex to Quispamsis, it's trees,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's not like that there.
Yeah.
It's like one melts
Same
into
with
the other.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
Find that.
remember when I first started going to Pennsylvania. That's where my wife's from, and I'd be just like,
Where's this
"We've
town
been in a
stop?
small town for an hour and a half driving."
Yeah,
'Cause
except
it
that
just-
you've been into like
Yeah,
five
exactly.
small
but
towns.
like it never.
It's
Like, where is the large stretch of woods between your
Yeah.
communities? And it's
Right.
like there isn't one.
Yeah, that's too bad. Because the large stretch of woods is awesome.
Well, and it does like it's funny. So now when Americans say they grew up in a small town, I don't really trust them because like my wife grew up in a town so small they didn't have postal delivery, but she was also 15 minutes from a massive mall.
Right.
It was just technically in the city that her small town just bored. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, no, if you
Right.
live in a small town, like it needs to be like at least a half an hour to any sort of chain store you've ever heard of before. And, maybe more than that to a proper mall or something.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You got us today's sponsor.
I do have, this is a legitimate sponsor.
Let's go.
Maybe our first or closest thing we've had to a legitimate sponsor. So
Yes.
Aroma Maya, craft coffee and artisan donuts. It's owned by our friend and King's Academy alum, Sergio, and I'm not going to get this right, Sergio, and I apologize now, but I believe it's Garrido. They roast their own craft coffee and make their own incredibly delicious donuts. I'm not a coffee guy, but I've had their donuts, and they are mwah. If you have a special event coming up, they can make custom donuts for you. Forget wedding cake, this is my opinion. Go with donuts. Who wouldn't rather have donuts? They have locations in Truro, Dartmouth, and Enfield, Nova Scotia. So Blue Nose dozens in those areas. Go check them out.
Hey.
If you want to learn more about their stores, you can go to aromamayastores.com. If you want to order their coffee by mail, you can go to aromamayacoffee.com. And Sergio sent along some gifts for us.
Oh, my goodness.
So we got to see what's in the bag here. We've got a couple of what I believe are these high-end travel mugs.
The Kinto tumbler.
Yeah. It's the thing.
My goodness.
And then we have some actual of their coffee.
All right.
Fresh, smooth, and just perfect. It's an art and a
That's really
science.
nice.
Nice.
It's a
Really
medium
nice.
roast. Ron, will you drink a medium roast?
Yeah, I'll touch it.
I figured maybe we'll split
That's
up the
awesome.
tumblers. Give Ron the coffee if he'll lower himself to a medium roast.
This would be an upgrade to me, so.
The
Well,
gift game is like
I mean,
It's great.
getting there.
Typical.
Aroma Maya, check them out.
typically we're just getting branded merch, but this is somebody's
Yeah.
going to be real popular with their wife when they roll home. Oh,
It's,
it is. That's a nice.
That's very nice. Thank you.
For those of you
to our friends
watching, for those of you who aren't,
At Aroma Maya.
because we're happy to have hits on 2 platforms. So we will count you twice. So yeah, Aroma Maya, great business, led by a wonderful Christian guy.
Yeah.
Good coffee, genuinely some of the best donuts I've ever had.
Truly. I agree.
Yeah, like this may be blasphemy to some people, but I would put them pretty much in the same league as like Krispy Kreme.
Oh,
Well, other than the Krispy Kreme original glaze,
Well, yeah,
like they have some cool novelty
Totally.
donuts at,
And they
at
will-
Aroma
I was
Maya,
looking on their website.
They're way better than Krispy
this is nothing Sergio asked me to do. I was just looking there, and they will actually, you can order, like if you're doing a special event, you can invent like the flavor combinations of donuts and stuff,
That's
and they'll
cool.
custom make them for you.
Yeah.
So like, again, if you were having a retirement party or a wedding or something, like you could have a donut there that no one's ever tried before because no one's ever made it up before.
It's an original.
Yeah, it's crafted especially for you. You could name it after yourself, I'm sure. The AJ.
I was trying to figure out
No,
something
they all go bad.
yeah, yeah.
That's for the Patreon. All right, maybe we should fire up that teletype machine
before the puns start running.
before poor Ron has to do some editing
Yeah.
on this episode.
Yeah. What are we researching today, Ron? Captain Ron.
Captain Ron, that's right.
As we're getting into summer, I want to know what is the best maritime province for a family vacation?
Oh,
I feel like that's a no-brainer,
you think?
but not because I believe it, but because of where all my friends go.
Okay, what are you saying?
PEI.
Yeah, I would say that's the most popular.
Right.
Yeah, best.
But I never.
Yeah.
I don't go.
I think certainly more people from the Maritimes go to PEI for vacation than any other province that isn't the province they live in.
Yes.
Except people from PEI.
Yeah.
They can't leave in the summer because that's the only time there's work. But
Yeah, if you're relegated to the Maritimes, that's your
If
best
you've
bet for
chosen
a summer.
to lean into the beauty of Atlantic Canada.
If distance and cost is not an issue, like what are we talking about? British Columbia is just not even in the same league as the rest of Canada.
I got to get out there one of these days.
It's
I've never
just
been. That's what I
it's
hear.
just ridiculous.
Did you say the Maritimes though?
What's that?
Did you say the Maritimes?
No, he said in Canada.
Oh, in Canada.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought he said Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, that's what I.
You said Atlantic Canada?
Yeah.
Maritimes.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's why we started.
That's
down that
why.
whole
Yeah,
road.
I was like,
I was like,
PEI.
All right, then yes,
If I had to
PEI.
choose.
I mean,
I love New Brunswick.
me too.
It is my favorite of the 3 maritime provinces.
Same.
But Kelly and I are planning to take a vacation in Newfoundland, which if you say Atlantic Canada, Newfoundland counts.
But if you say the Maritimes, it doesn't.
Yeah, Maritimes is the 3 provinces,
Yes.
and then Atlantic Canada includes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever been to Newfoundland?
Once for like less than 24 hours and never really got outside of St. John's.
Yeah. Was I with you on that?
Yes.
We were going for that church planting
thing?
Yeah, we told them it's a bad idea.
And it won't work.
Yeah.
It turned out it was a bad
And
idea.
they,
It didn't
and they
work.
did it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, they dumped a whole bunch of money into a thing we
Totally.
told them was a bad
This
plan.
is a bad move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens.
It is, isn't it?
We're not bitter. But yeah, no,
it wasn't our money, but
that's the only
it
time
was
I've
the
been there.
kingdoms.
So like we got to see around St. John's itself
Yeah.
and stuff. But
It's cool.
Yeah, we're planning to take. It might be as much as a couple of weeks this summer and just
Nice.
drive all over. And I want to go to Grossmore, and I've heard that's just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a place I'd like to go.
And is it Lonsau Meadows there? The like it's a Viking
Where the Vikings are?
settlement.
Yeah, the Viking settlement.
Yeah, that's all tied into Oak Island, and probably going to find the secret of the money pit.
You probably will. I mean, they're guarding it. History Channel's guarding the
Totally.
guarding it.
But yeah, no,
that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to that, but I can't say it's. I mean, I can't say it's a big deal because I
Yeah.
haven't done it yet. But I have every reason to believe.
We like Graham and Ann in the summer.
Yeah, I like Graham.
We enjoy going there for a couple of days, rent a cottage, and just get away and enjoy the beauty. There is just ridiculous.
It's
if
quiet.
it's not foggy.
Like it's quiet. It's easy to like unplug.
Yeah.
You don't. There's
It
nothing.
can be a challenge to plug in.
Yeah,
Depending on where you are on the
and
island.
generally you go there for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
if
it.
you're very like fast food dependent and stuff, it's probably not for you.
Yeah.
But if you can get groceries and
Yep.
cook, it's
You have
great.
those life skills.
Life skills. Yeah.
My wife loves to go to Graham and Ann picking sea glass.
Oh yeah.
She'll take a day and go over there just for the day.
Oh, yeah.
just to pick sea glass. Or her and her best friend take trips over there, just like go spend the night, go to every beach on the island.
You can never have too much sea glass.
That seems to be the model around our house.
I don't know what we do with it.
Yeah.
But there's bags
Just
of it.
have it.
Just
Totally.
everywhere.
Well,
and you
and
can't
so
have
they're
enough.
they've got this whole like you can get these guides that show you how rare different colors of sea glass are and stuff, and so it's like this whole like hierarchy. Like you can find like the white and the brown and like the
like,
kind of medium green,
pinks and purples
Yeah,
and like
red,
things that don't.
red,
yeah,
yellow, pirate glass. That's like the almost black. They generally think it's
From the black pearl.
from like rum bottles. So they call it pirate glass. I think I'm getting that right. I know at least one of the dozens who will correct us if I got that wrong. Thank
You're
you.
right.
But am I right?
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
right,
Are you a
Get
sea
your-
glass
get
guy?
your hat on, Captain
My
Ron.
wife is.
Pardon?
My wife is. So
Oh, there you go.
We've got bags and bags and bags.
Do you
of sea
guys ever
glass.
go to Graham and Ann?
Oh, all the time.
It's the
best place.
The coolest thing. I mean, I enjoy looking for sea glass just because it's like the low level OCD part in me that just likes to like organize things.
It's therapeutic.
Enjoys that, yeah. And it's focused enough you can focus, but it's not stressful at all. But I also just love finding stuff for my wife. But I will say this on Graham and Ann, if you're going to Graham and Ann, unofficial sponsor, check out the museum there.
Oh yeah.
It is a shockingly good museum for like a tiny little place.
They have the light from the lighthouse that my great grandfather used to
Oh,
tend.
that's that one.
Yeah.
That's cool, dude. It's
from
Have
Gannett
you seen all
Rock.
the birds?
No.
Oh man, they've got this room that's like it's like one of the largest collections of like stuffed birds in the world. It's insane.
We need some taxidermized birds in
We
here.
need some taxidermy
I'm
in
surprised
general.
there's not a deer.
Okay, straight up.
Those are in my
I'm
office.
putting out the call. If you have
Send in your taxidermy.
like a bobcat, a squirrel,
The creepier the
a
better.
fish, a jackalope, like those rabbits with the horns.
We want the low quality
Oh, yeah.
taxidermy.
Maybe you did it yourself.
Yeah. You can either give it to us or we will accept it as like people who own like super rare artifacts and they'll like loan them to museums. Like technically they own it, but it's theirs as long as they want to display it. we would love to get some terrible taxidermy or some
fish.
awesome.
I'd love a taxidermized fish.
Do you know what we need right there over your shoulder? Full-size black bear.
Ah, yeah.
Stand up on his hind legs. That would be awesome.
Did you ever get your antler chandelier?
Yeah, I've got an antler chandelier. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know a few years back you were like,
yeah. I mean, it's just a cheapo Amazon. It's not real antlers.
Yeah.
But
so I was going to say, you go to this museum and you can see like stories of these like ships that were carrying like an entire shipload of China, not just a ship that had China on it, like as in for the people to eat, for the captain to use or whatever, but like that's what they were transporting.
Transporting it, yeah.
And they've got chunks of it there, and then you can go to the beach. This is like 150 years after that shipwreck, and you'll like we found pieces that match that pattern and stuff.
Wow.
Like it's just it just feels gives you a sense of the history of the whole thing.
So Graham and Ann, check it out.
Yeah.
Explore NB.
Yeah.
Enjoy Nova Scotia.
Come
here in
play on my
PEI.
island.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that Nova Scotia or Newfoundland? Was come play
it's
on my
Ireland,
island.
maybe. I don't know.
No, it was an Atlantic tourism. Come play
Go to
on my
PEI.
island. Yeah. PEI doesn't need the help. They're already in the lead.
Yeah, they're winning.
Yeah.
They're winning in the
vote.
summer, losing the rest of the year.
Speaking of winning, we like to try to help the male dozens on the podcast win.
Absolutely. We need some advice.
Man, one giant leap for mankind.
They really made that sound like it was coming all the way from the moon.
They
didn't
really did. They had to
Well
run
done.
that through a tin can
Well
on a
done,
string to get
Stanley
that quality.
Kubrick.
So whenever we have a lady on, we like to take the opportunity to get a little insight, little wisdom, little guidance for all the men in the audience. So Lynsey, what advice do you have for
We're
all
listening.
mankind?
Oh man, I don't know. There's been so many great women on here that have shared some really incredible advice. I'm not sure if I have anything new. First thing that popped into my head was don't tell a woman to calm down if you want her to calm down.
Look, calm
but
down.
I feel like
You're already getting kind of worked up, Lynsey.
but in reality, like I did write something down. I said, don't most women don't need you to fix everything. They need you to know or to see what's happening. They want to be seen, understood, and known in what's happening. Like they just want you to engage. Like don't try to fix it. Don't try to come in and save the day. They just want to not be alone. That's probably one of the most common things I hear from women is just I'm feel alone in this, especially emotionally, because we tend to be more in tune with our emotions than men do.
See, now the all the guy stuff in me goes like, you wouldn't be alone in it if I just fixed it. You wouldn't be in it at all. You wouldn't be in it at all.
We'd be together and this would be solved.
Yeah, we'd be together in some better thing.
Yeah.
But generally,
Yeah.
like what
No,
we're
you're right.
looking
You're
for
totally right.
isn't actually something that can necessarily be fixed right there in the moment.
That is a
That's
true
what- that's
statement.
what
That is
you
a
say.
true statement. That is
You
a
let us
true.
get on it.
Is a true statement that is messed up.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not driving my car into the mechanic and saying, I just want you to notice me.
Right.
Just pay attention
My
for a
muffler's
minute.
falling off. We'll get right
Like-
on that. No.
Right.
I just want you to be sad
just-
with me
just-
about the muffler
Just
falling
be
off.
here with me.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh, man.
Can you just hold my hand while it doesn't start?
Yeah. There.
Give it some gas, honey. You don't even care.
Yeah.
No, it is very much.
Yeah, it's
I
very
think
true.
my wife and I have this conversation often, and I think I've brought this up on here before too. But honestly, I think the biggest hack for understanding women in general, and for those of you who are married, your wives specifically, is don't try to figure out why. Like if you know that if you press this button, that thing happens, you don't need to understand the chain of events between them, like, because it's not probably going to make sense to your super linear brain. But I don't think women are hard to figure out that. Like, if you do this, that. If you say this, that. If you act this way, that. It's just the why that's hard, and guys have a hard, like, I need to understand how it works. And it's like, no, you don't, and you probably wouldn't, but you just know, like, and that'd be a great example. Like, to me, it's one of those, I don't, if I have a problem and you can just solve it for me, please do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's how women think, and that, like, I don't have to understand why. I can just
Yeah.
go,
And if you're not sure, like it's totally okay to go, hey, is this a situation where you want my advice or you just want me to listen to you?
Yeah.
Like, do you just want
So we don't
want
have
me
to
be
intuit that?
engaged?
We're allowed to ask. Is this
I don't know. I don't
is
know
this
your
a
wives.
be
I
with
don't know
me,
how
or is this a
dysfunctional
help
or
me solve
healthy
this?
so
or
this is what I would say. If
I don't know.
if your wife,
You're going to get us all killed, Lindsay.
listen.
no, genuinely, I would say if you're a woman and you just want a guy to just kind of be with you in it, it is very fair to expect that from him and to ask him, expect him, whatever, not to solve it. But I would say if a guy asks and you get upset and won't tell him, you're not meeting in the middle on
No,
that.
no,
right.
there's other issues at play.
You're being awful at that point.
Honestly, that does get into like manipulative,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And or it's like you're not saying I need to be allowed to be a woman and you need to be allowed to be a man. You're saying I need to be allowed to be a woman and you have to be a woman with me. Like not just don't make me want to solve this, but also I won't even tell you that that's what I want. Like at some point that does get really dysfunctional. And so I think, there's a lot to be said for just clear communication.
Yeah, like it has to be a safe place for both people. Like, like if every time you come to listen to me or to engage with me, I'm just like biting your head off because you didn't do it right. Yeah, that's a problem.
or because you aren't psychic. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like you have to be able to just say like, here's what I need right now.
Yeah.
Well, the other bit of advice, speaking of that, is we're not mind readers. There is a level of like, I actually was having
Like
a
your
conversation.
own mind?
No, I'm not.
We're not mind readers. What are you talking about?
I know. Listen, we both sides of the coin have their issues with this. But I was having a conversation with a handful of women from the church. I won't say that they were all wives of pastors here, and they weren't yours, but they were.
My
there
wife
was a
doesn't
mix.
even go here, so I knew it wasn't her.
And there was a common consensus that often men typically just expect you to have the full picture without all of the information.
I feel like that's totally opposite of reality.
Totally.
I feel like we have millennia of data pointing the other direction entirely.
Like I said, whatever your situation is, communication.
Yeah.
You are
Communication
right.
is key.
Yes.
Well, I
Yes.
would say, and we've touched on this already, kind of the different way typically male and female brains are wired. I do think for a lot of guys, if they go, like this is how they think about it, they go, if I told you there was one and then I added one, I shouldn't have to tell you that made two, because that just happens automatically in their brain.
Yeah.
And I think for most women, it'd be more like if I told you there was one and then I added one, can we just take a minute and feel bad for when the one was on its own before it had the other one? You know, like that kind of like, you know what I mean? I mean, that's an oversimplification, but it is just a matter of like the stuff that's duh for guys and the stuff that's duh for ladies is different stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where you just have to go like, I can fault you for not doing, not fault. I can encourage you to maybe help me more by responding in a way that's appropriate to the information you have, but I can't expect you to have information.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it boils down to, like we said already, is communication. Like it's just growing your connection with one another, your intimacy, your understanding of one another and how each other operates. Katie Pearson said it when she was on, I believe, it's just understanding your 5 love languages, like how you operate, even just in those ways. It's like, okay, do I really know you? Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people too early on in relationships, like there's this thing, you see it happen. I mean, it's like everything in life. It's very stark with like teenagers and young adults, but it doesn't actually go away. It just gets more low key. That people fall in love with who they think a person is or who they wanted them to be. Like they have an idea of it's almost like on a video game where you have to like pick your character. It's like I know your backstory, I know what you like, I know what you want. I've imagined all that in my head, and you're just the face I'm going to pin that to. And then you figure out like you didn't marry
who that is.
your dream person.
goodness,
I mean,
it
literally
happens
someone you just dreamed up.
so much.
Yeah. And then
it's
they
not
get
even
mad
just
at
in relationships.
Oh, totally. No, it happens everywhere. But
Yeah.
and then that happens. I think people do that with pastors a lot.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh,
I'm a
there-
caricature.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
I always laugh when people like someone who like, even the good way, but like they'll talk about, someone like you who has whatever, like spends 7 hours in prayer every day. And I'm like, dude, I don't spend 7 hours doing anything every day except for maybe sleeping.
Breathing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you often have to remind people like they're a person.
I'm just a guy.
Yep.
They're a person loving Jesus
Yep.
and walking in a calling that they have, but that does not in any way make them perfect.
For sure. Well, if you want to hear real-time marriage advice, you could submit some questions to the back corner for our season finale.
And genuinely, I would say this, not just our wives coming on helps with this, But I think
Throw a grenade in the mix. See what happens.
I love it. I can't wait.
I think
happens.
between the Ingersolls and the Thomases, we have two very healthy but radically different marriages. And so it really is a good, like, I always laugh when you go to like these marriage conferences and people try to talk like every marriage is the same, or like every healthy marriage even is the same. It's like, just isn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got these two people, this is the only time they've ever been married to each other. Like, this is a novel. Every marriage is novel. This is why I always say if someone has been married once, they're not a great person to take advice from because they've only done it once. And if someone has been married like 12 times, they're an even worse person.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
So what's the sweet spot? 3?
Yeah, I think you can listen to people, but like you can't en masse emulate someone else's marriage because you're not in it.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
And
like,
a marriage is two unique people
right,
coming
like,
together.
Like, I could tell someone, like, if I got cancer and I knew the guy that was going to go after my wife after I died, he and I could sit down and I could have a very helpful conversation with him because I've been married.
You're a better man than me. I'd be on my deathbed working out a way to assassinate him.
Oh, dude, no way, man. I'd be taking applications. We'd be doing background screenings. I'd be trying to figure out some biblical way that I could be at the wedding. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my word.
They're going to unplug me tomorrow. You just wheel me in. I want to make sure this guy.
You do the wedding like virtually.
Dude,
we are gathered.
Woman.
We are gathered here today.
Watch the wedding video in the background the whole time.
Morbid. Let's move on.
Didn't you guys talk about this when Amy Howard and them were here?
What?
Well, I did bring up that
like.
Kelly and I have been having that thing. Like, it was like, if something were to happen to me.
It's on your, it's on your.
What if
I literally don't remember the last back corner we do ever.
No.
Like, it's fresh for me every single time.
It's just because I was listening to it this morning.
Oh, okay.
getting ready.
Yeah.
Well, and I do, like,
We did. I think I said that Melanie would have a date at the funeral.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this is so. My wife has claimed there's a community of nuns that we're friends with in Halifax, and she's like, "I'm just becoming a Franciscan of Halifax. I'm gonna put on a gray jumper, and you'll never see me again."
No one will ever measure up.
All right, we got some stuff in the news.
She couldn't be bothered to try to date. Yeah. So big discovery. My goodness, earth-shattering stuff here.
This just in.
It appears we may have found Noah's Ark.
Oh,
Let's go.
Can you? Yeah, exactly. Not even again, but there is new information here. Why don't you roll this one?
American researchers working in the high mountains of Turkey
You'd be shocked to learn
have
this is on
uncovered
Fox
what
News.
appear to be hidden tunnels similar to the descriptions of the biblical account of Noah's Ark.
Our next guest says his newly found
love how he
evidence
delivered
can
that.
prove
Of
that
Noah's Ark.
did in fact exist, turning this biblical mystery into a reality. Joining us now from Turkey is one of those researchers from Noah's Ark Scans, Andrew Jones. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us and for all the good work that you're doing. This is fascinating. Tell us about your findings that could prove the real-life existence of Noah's Ark.
Thank you for having me on. Yes, greetings from the mountains of Ararat, where the Bible says the ark landed. I'm about 1 mile from the Iranian border. And in this remote area, this boat formation was discovered in 1959. But our new research has shown that there are tunnels about 4 meters down and about 2 meters high going down the center of the boat and on the inside edge of the hull shape. And so we really believe that this layout showing tunnels and also possible support beams and walls would suggest that it's a man-made object and not just a natural formation.
Yeah, many geologists
So there we go.
disagree
I think we get the idea. So yeah, the idea is there's this shape on Mount Ararat that looks like roughly the size of a big boat.
Yeah.
And that's old news, but they've discovered through like ground penetrating radar and stuff that there appear to be like tunnels, chambers, walkways in it that would give the impression that
like a boat disintegrated there.
Well, of course, it's fun that they say that meets the description of Noah's Ark, which there's nothing that I know of in the Bible about the internal layout of Noah. Like for all we know, they were just all thrown in a big hole together. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys? Do you think this is Noah's Ark? Does it matter?
It's not new. I mean, like you said, discovered this place back in the 50s. Yeah. And I mean, there's been all kinds of things that have come out, but nobody, where's the holes? Like where are they, why haven't they excavated or done some sort of digging or, That's my question. Just kind of like,
I think
why
it
have
was
we gone
protected
this...
by, like, I think access was limited for a long time.
Okay.
I did a deep dive on it like 8 years ago, so I don't remember a ton. Some stuff that leans, well, one, they said pretty just blatantly that this is on Mount Ararat. I think there's actually some dispute as to where the biblical Mount Ararat is, and so there's a little.
Is it? There's a mountain now called Ararat, but we don't know that it's the Mount Ararat.
Yeah, exactly. And so like they're just saying, nope, this is Ararat.
Like we met at the Cracker Barrel, but which Cracker Barrel?
Biblically, I think
that was for you, Lindsay.
Bible scholars debate even where Ararat was. So there's a world where there's question on that. But that said, I mean, there's a couple things that certainly make you go, like obviously the shape that it's beached on a mountain.
Right.
I mean, that's significant. And then the cool thing too is there's some videos on YouTube like that show they found like stone anchors within within like 100 yards or a kilometer of the wreck or whatever they think that is, and they're like ballast weights that would have been used for a vessel,
something about how you like hook them front and back of the boat or whatever, and it keeps it drifting in the waves properly.
They kind of anchor and just like it's like anyway. There's like they found a bunch of these with an eye hole in it, markings on it. So that's kind of weird. So there's certainly smoke. Like it could very well be. Like it wouldn't change much for me if they quantifiably could prove that it is Noah's Ark, and if it's not. Then
one of the things I found interesting in the reporting on this is
light day at Fox.
Yeah,
they needed something to not talk about the Epstein files for. So
the host talks about how this guy's doing good work, which she is not qualified to judge the quality of the actual work.
Yeah.
So what she means by that is you're doing work that seems to confirm the biblical narrative.
So that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Which shows a significant bias there.
Right.
But also...
At Fox? Come on.
Yeah. Well, no, but I do think this is a thing people need to be aware of, like, especially in this day of, like, random reels and you can produce anything, like, just to have a little bit of discernment in going, like, just because a news anchor says it's good work. Again, what she means is... ultimately what she means is thank you for doing something that we can report on that will make our viewers happy. Which does align with a biblical thing. But again, like that doesn't mean, because the Fox News host said they did good work, doesn't mean it's definitely confirmed and it is everything this guy says it is, or that he's even, a legitimate guy. The other thing, though, that's interesting to me, which in a way sort of, it shows the weird place that the evangelical church is in. So on the one hand, anything that is scientific work that seems like it would prove the Bible is good. On the other hand, they said this tends to show that the biblical story or the biblical myth is a reality. Mm-hmm. So what they're saying is we need to prove the Bible, and the way we do that is with scientific research. The idea being science still outranks the Bible.
Right.
Right? So there's this weird
Well, that's the ditch that you can fall in, right? It's like instead of just believing and taking the word for the word, it's like, well, I need something to back it up.
Yeah. Well, and it shows how in the kind of post-Enlightenment West, even the very religious are still drenched in this like scientism thing.
Yeah.
And also in a very, and again, I think there was a huge flood. I don't live or die over whether it was actually literally the whole globe or not.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how that works in terms of like physics, where all that water came from and where it went to be that deep and stuff. But
opened up the caverns of the deep.
Yeah.
And the firmament.
Yeah, you got to have a firmament.
So,
but like that idea that if we can prove that this was a big boat that had animals on it, which seems like is about as close as we'll get.
Yeah.
Doesn't change my understanding of the story, doesn't change my theological understanding of the truth behind it. So it's this weird, like, we are all about Bible so much that we're going to try to prove it with the higher authority of science.
Yeah, that said,
and we can only read the Bible as a scientific document.
I agree, as Christians, like, we need to not approach the Bible like through that lens. That said, I also believe that God is unbelievably gracious and he will meet people where they're at. And there have been a lot of archaeological discoveries in the last 100 years that have given like authority to the scripture, like things that people for years said, oh, this city didn't exist, or this group of people never existed. Like every 10 years, there's huge archaeological discoveries that are validating a lot of
What was the one Rogan was going on about recently, this mosaic that they found that's super, super early, and it refers to Christ? Because one of the big arguments against Christianity specifically, right, like the New Testament, is that this idea of the divinity of Christ is a way later invention. And they found, I believe it was like a mosaic tile floor from like a super early church, like within the 50 or 60 years or something like that after Christ, that says like Jesus is God or whatever kind of a thing, like just giving credence to that idea. Like, no, from the earliest times that was and there's what people understood.
More and more of those discoveries. Like I don't know if it was in the last like the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Pilate Stone,
sounds familiar.
Like Pontius Pilate, they found a stone that basically had his insignia on it, because there was even doubt that he was even a real person. That this is just somebody they cooked up to make the story sound good, and then they found it in Caesarea Philippi, or Caesarea, not Philippi. There's Caesarea Philippi, which is northern Israel, and then there's Caesarea on the coast.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know. I'm with you. I can't remember the other name either.
Caesareas, but anyway, that's where they found it.
I would say this, like when there are these developments that confirm, I wouldn't even say the truth of the Bible, but the historicity of the Bible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is the secondary thing the Bible is telling us, a secondary thing. That's awesome. But I would also say, like, if your faith is so dependent on, like, those discoveries have to happen before you'll believe, for starters, you don't understand how old the book is. And for second, like at some point you are still elevating science above revelation.
Yeah. You can run the ramp of reason before the leap of faith.
Yep.
There's still going to be a leap of faith, and you can keep building the ramp of reason, but nobody gets away from having to choose to believe. And
at some point you do have to, like, there are things in scripture that will never be proven. They just can't be.
Yeah.
Like the Sermon on the Mount. Like, you can't prove that, like, we're not going to find a video of Jesus delivering the Sermon on the Mount, right? And so at some point, you do have to trust the book. And in order to trust the book, you have to trust the Holy Spirit who inspired the book. And so that's where I would go, man, all this stuff that confirms it is awesome. But if you're sitting at home going, till we find Noah's Ark, I don't know if I can get there. It's like your faith is in the wrong thing.
Oddly, though, like, I totally agree with you. And, like,
that is odd.
No, I have definitely veered away from, needing to, like, I've accepted the scripture as it's not primarily a scientific document. It is somewhat historical. It is historical, but I've not in all that. Even though I've just said, like, okay, I want to read scripture for what it is. I have, in a strange way, gotten more literal in even some of the weird stuff in the Old Testament. Like, if you asked me 20 years ago, do you think that Jonah was really...
am I about to reset a counter here?
That Jonah was really swallowed by a fish?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just allegory. Like, the older I get and the more I give myself to the word, I'm just like, I think he did.
Yeah.
God can do anything. That's basically what I'm coming to fully believe, is just like what's matter and what is atoms and molecules to God. Like, these are crazy, wild stories, and we serve a big God. So
I get less hung up on the miraculous, like, in terms of how literal do I go, versus the things that would be informed by the perspective of the people that experienced them. So that's where I, like, with up until 500 years ago, all over the world, for most of the world, didn't include North America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I don't think that Noah saying, whatever, a flood came and covered the whole earth, means, by definition,
the whole earth was a localized
picture. That what he's saying is everywhere that he knew of was covered, like it was that
Well,
big.
it would have been Moses, I think, that would have written that anyway, right?
Well, yeah, but somebody had to pass down the oral tradition.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
the whole
everything from before Noah would have had to come from Noah through Noah, including the flood itself. So like I think that's the kind of stuff I don't lose a lot of sleep over.
Yeah.
But can God make a giant fish that can show up and swallow a guy and keep him alive in it for 3 days? Sure, why not?
There is growing like geological evidence of like a global catastrophic flood. Which some
like
of
they're finding shales on top of mountains.
And
like that.
And like erosion in places that shouldn't have it, and and some of the old Earth, the ancient alien nerds, they certainly get excited about the idea that there was a global catastrophe, and then they have fun with the idea that maybe civilization was way more advanced than we think it was when the flood came.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe we went way back in time and development. There's a huge reset. I mean, that doesn't bother me.
You think about the whole Tower of Babel story, right?
Right.
And like I think a lot of times we picture
bricks.
Well, like, what could primitive man have built? You know what I
cute.
mean? Like, it's
cute.
It was 30 feet tall. You know what I mean? But like, if they thought they could literally get, like, you would have to assume they felt they could build something that went higher than any mountain that they had access to. Because otherwise they would have done what every other religious, including the Old Testament, the people of Israel, they go up a mountain to, like, that notion of height equals closer to divinity. Why wouldn't you just go up a hill? Like,
and it clearly was a threat, like not to God, but to humanity. Like it's like what they will be capable of. Let us go down and basically thwart this effort.
And that's
they're
where
going to destroy themselves.
Where I go back to, like, not allegory, but communicated in a way later man could understand. To go, like, there could have been a literal tower that was wildly tall, had elevators or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but the point of the story,
what would post-flood man understand?
Right.
Yeah.
And you go, so maybe there was an actual tower, but there was also like wild technology around that they were playing God with.
Grav lifts and
even you just think of today,
stuff.
right? Like maybe they're creating artificial intelligence. Maybe they've they're doing gene editing and they're deciding how people should be born. Like, they're playing God.
Well, and you get into
God goes, you don't get to use your unity or whatever to do that.
Well, in the book of Enoch kind of, reset the counter, but it basically says that the Nephilim gave humans, they taught humans the ability to like use technology and pharmacy and like.
So do you think the Nephilim are the Anunnaki, or do you think that
I don't believe in the Anunnaki.
The legend of the Anunnaki is kind of a morphing of the idea of the Nephilim?
I think so. I think
that understanding from Enoch of the Nephilim a morphing of the original Sumerian idea of the Anunnaki?
I think all of those ancient. I think all of those ancient channels
overrated because we're losing people.
No, I think like pick your ancient myth. I think the Nephilim are the true myth. Like that, whether it's Zeus and Apollo or the Anunnaki or the Sumerian texts, like I think it's all ultimately, I think we have the true myth or like the truth. And
one of these days we got to get into the whole. This is one of the few. Like, I can't decide if this is definitely a thing or totally not a thing, but pyramids, like the way they appear all over the world.
Yeah.
Because part of me goes like, how does that happen? But then I go like, if you're trying to get high and you have limited technology, like even a kid playing with blocks will invent a pyramid.
Yeah.
Because it's just the easiest way to get, like, it's a low tech way to get high.
Yeah, but these are high tech pyramids though.
Yeah,
like
the intricacies of a pyramid is wild.
Yes.
Even just how they managed to do all of that.
Totally.
I think
grav lifts.
Well, so I think there's a difference between though the the precision of the pyramids speaks to a certain level of ability, but the ubiquity of them, the fact that you can find pyramids in South America and Egypt and Asia and
how widespread.
Well, that's where I go like, is that like there was some common culture, or was it just, again, like if you're going to try to build high, pyramid is the easiest way to do that, right?
Yeah, but there's so much. I mean, like it's not just, hey, let's build something high. Like these things are engineered, and like you look at the ones in Giza or whatever, like they're somehow align with the stars and like the math.
No, but that's what
insane.
I'm saying. Like any individual pyramid shows high technology. The prevalence of them worldwide, does that show some sort of connection between them all, or is it just whatever the best?
That's what goes up.
Well, and whatever the best. Like, so we need a thing that lines up with the stars. Well, how they knew where the stars were going is a whole other question. But if you're going to try to build tall things that line up with the stars, that's what you do, right? Or if you're going to try to build tall things that point across some geographical line that you could only see from the air, and how did they see it from the air? But you're just building them to connect this line of spiritual energy or whatever. You're like, but pyramids would be the logical thing to build if you need them to be tall. But anyway. Well, let's get into some overhated, overrated.
If we haven't lost you yet,
come on back. Bathroom break's over. So this is the segment where we list off a bunch of stuff and discuss whether we think it gets too much hype or too much hate, whether it's not that bad or not that rad, whether people need to give it more love or give it a shove. It's overhated, overrated. And we're going to start out...
lightning round?
Well, I mean, we'll try to move fairly quickly through these. Sourdough bread.
Appropriately rated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appropriately rated. It's if I'm having bread, I like it.
Yeah.
Bread's overrated.
It is.
So
here's what I would say about sourdough bread. Eating it, very appropriately rated. Making it, my wife makes it, and I'm like, it is a ton of work.
Really?
Oh, it takes like a day and a half. Yeah, because you got to feed the dough and set it and rise it, and it's very complicated to make. And if you enjoy making it, I think it's great. But man, if I would never go to the trouble of making it, I would never go to the trouble of making it just to eat it. But so yeah, I think I would say making it depends on your temperament. Eating it, appropriately rated.
Yeah, I don't make it anymore because I eat it. Yeah. So it's too good when it fresh comes out of the oven. Yeah. It's so good.
Well, you can vouch though. It's like a whole thing.
It is a whole thing, and that's why I don't make it anymore because I don't have time for that.
Yeah, like
I buy it from the store or my friends.
Kelly will have to like look at her calendar and go like, I have a day and a half or whatever free. I can make it. Not free, but you know what I mean? Like that I'm not going to be gone away from the house for more than 2 hours at a time and all this stuff. All right, fancy high-end coffee.
Overrated.
Unless it's from Aroma Maya, craft coffee.
No, I like it. I just need the caffeine at the end of the day.
Church coffee all the way.
Yeah, which is terrible.
It is. Yeah. It's so bad.
Yeah. Ron, you want to weigh in on this one?
It's so underrated.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, I like a little coffee with my cream. So
yeah. I don't drink coffee, but I would say it seems to me you just got to do a personal joy factor.
Yeah, fair enough.
And like if it
brings you joy.
This is a conversation I have with Kelly frequently because she loves expensive high-end coffee and is really cheap. And so like it took me like probably a couple of years of like, honey, if it brings you this much joy, like even really nice coffee, it's not that expensive. Like making it at home,
frivolous.
Not that, and it's not that expensive per cup, right? Like if whatever, let's say $2 a day makes you happy. Be happy. Like you know what I mean? Like
don't worry.
Yeah,
I'm only picky when it comes to like the difference between whatever Costco sells. There's the really crappy stuff that tastes like burnt, charred cigarettes, and then there's then there's a little bit of an upgrade that like is like McDonald's McCafe, whatever that is that they sell.
So you're like a medium person.
Yeah, I'm like a medium. Yeah. So whatever that other stuff is, that's garbage.
Yeah. My coffee was particularly bad this morning. It was like Kirkland K-Cup and
that stuff
was bad.
Yeah.
Isn't the Kirkland coffee Starbucks?
No.
Candy.
I don't know.
Anything instant is going to be instant. Low. It's in a K-Cup.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be maybe the Kirkland like actual beans are probably fine.
Yeah.
Kirkland doesn't seem to do anything, but it's a K-Cup.
So I mean, Kirkland doesn't actually make anything, right? Like they're just I watched a whole thing about that once, and it was like like, hey, if you like if you want your Kirkland Long Johns, here's who actually made them. If you want, whatever else. But all right, gambling in general, lottery, raffles, penny poker, the whole way down. What do we think about gambling?
I don't think penny poker could be quantified as gambling unless you literally are homeless. Okay, so that's
or play 24 hours.
It's not a gamble to lose pennies, or $5 for most of us. So that
can't even play penny poker anymore.
Let me put that aside, like. Playing the game of poker for an agreed upon amount, like if we're all going to throw in $5, like I'll pay $20 to go watch a movie. Yeah. if I'm hanging out. So like that's not a gamble. A gamble is when you're risking losing something that you really can't lose. That's a gamble. So that
when you're throwing $5 in a pot and you like what you said, you might as well throw chips, like literal potato chips in a pot. Like
or
you're
throwing in on a raffle that's half of it's going to charity or whatever. Like it's.
But if you are prone to addiction,
I wasn't done. I think it's very much overrated, and it's a huge problem growing in, especially like young men. Like sports gambling is becoming a massive issue, and it's a huge problem. You know, particularly guys get very hooked on it. It's a drug, and it'll wreck you. So. I think it's steer clear, man. Like just gambling, actual gambling, like is again, if there's risk involved where you could lose money that you really don't want to lose, I think steer clear.
Yeah.
So
I would say too, if like there's a certain amount of arrogance that comes or hubris that comes with gambling, that if you know that some third party who is not at the table, so to speak, their business is to provide you this opportunity, they win. Like it's that the house always wins, right? And so to go like this casino or this lottery corporation, this whatever, like I'm going to be the one who doesn't lose money to them.
Yeah.
When however many
clearly everyone's losing
thousands
money.
to millions of other people do, like it's just like
it's arrogant.
It's magical thinking. It's something messed up. But I would be I'm not a gambling guy at all, like even low stakes stuff much. But I would say if you would whatever you're going to put in, if to what you were getting at, Lynsey, like if that's going to be a gateway thing for you, it's the same way you might like. Look, if you want to have a glass of wine with a nice meal, I'm not going to hold it against you. But if that glass of wine with a nice meal is going to turn into a fifth of scotch in your ditch later that day, don't do it. And so, like, if you've had a history of that, certainly steer clear of it. It's nothing. I would never say to someone, you really should try some low stakes gambling. But like, to your point, like if you're playing with whatever pennies or M&Ms or you know what I mean, but you're going,
that's not a gamble,
right? If what you are putting up is what you would have paid to have the experience.
Right. That's not a gamble.
Right.
I won sitting down.
It cost me $5 to play poker with my, again, I don't play poker, but as an example, it cost me $5 to play pokers with my buddies for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I would pay $5 to do, like, if we would have went to a coffee shop, if we went to a restaurant, if we would have paid more for almost any other activity. And then the other thing was if you would have given the money to it, like the charitable raffle thing. I grew up in a church context where like you wouldn't give money to the Little League soccer raffle because that's gambling. And you're just like, what I'm doing is I'm making a donation.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a chance I might get something for that, whatever. Yeah. But like, you know,
that's legalism, man.
Totally. Yeah. If you're like, I'm going to spend the grocery money on this raffle.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm feeling lucky.
Right. Like,
right.
But
I'm
to
putting
go
all
like,
my hope in something.
I'll give. Yeah.
You are. I want to get your opinion, Lynsey, on what you're seeing in recovery ministry on that area. But like, just again to reiterate what you said, AJ, about like just open your eyes to the business of it all.
Yes.
You know, Mel and I were in Vegas in February to see the Backstreet Boys, like you do. And so we walked through.
Speaking of understanding that, but not why.
Yeah, exactly right. We were walking through all the casinos, and like I'm watching the life get sucked out of people's faces, like at slot machines. You could see it. You could see like the just like a few people were happy because they were winning, and you hear the bells going off and stuff. But like I'd say 4 out of 5, you could tell we're like, crap. Yeah. But you're looking around these literal palaces, like just stunning. The money in the walls is insane. And so I'm sitting there thinking, clearly the house is winning. Like
totally.
They're clearly winning. So you're guaranteed to, you're like the majority of us are walking out of here losers. Yes.
They literally dump millions of dollars into studies on how to engage your brain.
Oh yeah.
And to stimulate, like to stimulate all the chemicals in your body to want to sit at that machine.
Well, Facebook actually and like Instagram on the infinite scroll, they got that from VLTs. Basically,
I've watched people sit at VLTs and just like empty everything they had, and just like you see like the life
you do,
like you say, draining out of their body. It's just, it's the saddest. Like uptown St. John, they'd have them in like dualies, like we lived uptown years ago. And it was just like, it's like these people are literally here every single day, putting their entire paycheck in the hopes that one day maybe.
Yeah, I always get blown away by the people. Like again, like. I'm not. If you throw a buck in or whatever to the Lotto Max is $700 bajillion, and you're like, what's $1? I'll just not have a coffee today. I'm not gonna sweat that too much. But if you're the guy that like every week Sunday night I show up with my book, and you stand there at the convenience store, one, I hate standing behind you.
Oh yeah,
that is a pet peeve. If you're gonna monopolize the counter for 10 minutes while you lose all your money and we have to stand behind you, I hate that. But you should like really like just that's the issue, like where you're dumping so much money and you're addicted and you don't even realize it.
I've never been inclined towards like gambling in the lottery, but I had two experiences relatively early on in life that cemented that. One was I worked at a gas station, and there was a guy who'd come in every week and spend $100 on tickets, and he would win frequently. Yeah, but like he'd win $15, and he'd be like, "Yeah," I'm like, dude, you just lost spent $85. Yeah. Like he just and I don't know what the guy's income level was for sure, but to look at him, I don't think he was the kind of guy who probably had $100 extra every week, really. Like that he was just could burn. I mean, he was spending that on electricity for the scooter he was driving. And then I had a friend who worked maintenance at the casino in Halifax, and he talked about how often they have to come by the slot machines and clean up urine because people will stand there and just pee themselves because they think if they walk away, someone else is going to, like, that winter's coming up. It's coming up, right? Or people who wear diapers, like would wear Depends, who don't need them, but just so they can. Yes, it would just, and you just go like, okay, if this is, gets that kind of hold on people. Yeah. That's one of those things I just wish people were. The world is full of people who are like cynical and jaded about all the wrong things. Yes. And I'm like, if there's ever anything to be cynical and jaded about, it's like everyone who makes money off you is trying to make money off you. Yes. Like, so there's no way you get more money than they do. Yeah. Even when you're buying something, ideally you get a relatively fair exchange of, goods or services for money. Yeah. But you're not coming out ahead.
Yeah, I'm wondering about like these companies like FanDuel and like on every podcast. I listen to a lot of dude podcasts, so a lot of them are sponsored by FanDuel or
DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Yeah, like they're creating a generation of gambling addicts, and we're going to see the fallout of that.
You tie sports to gambling, and it's like the perfect storm.
Totally.
Like.
Yeah, because we think as sports fans, like
guys think
I'm pretty sure I know how this is going to go. I'll take that bet. So
I would say, given that prediction, Brent, if you want to be someone who is, say, in 15 years, like let's say you're like a 20-something-year-old guy, and in 15 years you want to be further ahead financially than all your friends, just don't gamble.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you might not have any more money than you would have, but they're going to have so much less.
Work at McDonald's and don't gamble.
Right. You're going to seem rich, relatively speaking. All right, well, let's extracurricular activities for kids, not in general, but like the kind of move to keep your kids highly scheduled. Is that great? Gives them lots of rich experiences, helps them to, find hobbies and all that kind of stuff. Is it a little much overrated?
Appropriately rated.
Yeah. I land in the middle on that. Because I mean, it can go either way. You can have too much, and you can have, and having it is a good thing too. Yeah. There's structure. It builds confidence. There's just so much that comes from that.
Some
being
parents,
a part of sports, but it can get out of hand.
Some
real
parents
quick.
let the tail wag the dog.
I think if your kid's in like 5 different kinds of lessons at once, you're a little far.
Yeah. And are they even enjoying it? Like at the point in which it stops becoming fun. Yeah, like totally. I feel like that's when it should it should be like, okay, this is no longer a good, healthy thing for my kid.
The couple of warnings I would give about just how do you know it's too much, right? Because is it good for a kid to play a sport? Yeah, 2 sports, like maybe at the same time, maybe 3. I don't know. But I would say if you are outsourcing your parenting, like I just have to pick my kids up from school and drop them off at lessons and then put them to bed. I don't actually have to parent them, interact with them, spend time with them. And the same thing with once it starts interfering with their ability to be fairly fully involved in your church. Because your kid is, this old, your kid is not going to make the NBA or the NHL or whatever, but they are going to stand before God someday.
Yeah, let's do one more overrated, overhated, and then let's get into,
all right.
Try to get into Lynsey's story here.
I've been wanting to talk about this one, online dating.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I've never done it.
Well, no, that's why I thought it'd be great to talk about.
Oh.
In amongst the people you work with in CR, Lynsey, Celebrate Recovery, for those of you who don't know the shorthand, is that a thing you see much of? Like people with kind of relational dysfunction and some of those kind of things? Is online dating a big piece of that? Or
I feel like online dating kind of phased out in the last so many years. I don't hear as much about it. Like the Plenty of Fish or whatever used to be super big, maybe like 8 years ago or something like that. I feel like it's no longer, I don't know. I can't really speak to it because I don't have a lot of conversations with people about the online dating scene. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't hear very much about it.
I mean, if it helps somebody,
I've heard some horror stories for sure over the years of like people showing up and going and just like, how do I escape this?
I've seen both. I've seen people though also that have actually met their match and like they were able to narrow down the field dramatically and have an idea of what you're looking for. So if that works for you, like go for it.
I have a friend who will remain nameless, who is much younger than I am, who met their wife and they're happily married now for, I don't know, it's probably been 3 or 4 years at least online. And the hilarious thing was it was during kind of the tail end of COVID. And this friend meets up with this or starts chatting with this girl that he matched with on, was it Bumble maybe? I don't remember. Anyways, but the hilarious thing was he was doing an internship at a church. But because it was COVID, people weren't in the same room a whole lot. But she went to the church. So it's one of those, like, in another 3 months, they would have met in person anyway.
Right.
But also it was hilarious because he's, like, introducing himself. And she's like, yeah, I know who, like, you're one of the, like, the pastoral residents or whatever at my church. Like, I know who you are kind of a thing. So it was kind of a funny, a funny thing. I don't know, maybe the younger singler dozens, put something in the chat, your commentary on it. What have you seen in your own life? What have you seen with friends? Would you say it's, again, there's always an exception to every rule. So I'm sure there's, for every good situation, someone's had a bad one, and for every bad thing, but more good than bad, more bad than good. What do you think?
Want to do a quick, it would behoove you?
Yeah, let's behoove some people.
It would behoove you.
All right. Mine, real quick, check out the YouTube page of Malcolm Geit. I love him.
Yeah.
I wish he was my next door neighbor. I would just go over and let him read Tolkien and smoke a pipe while I listen.
He might be the closest thing to a hobbit that exists in real
He
world.
looks like a hobbit.
Oh, dresses like a
hobbit. His videos are all the same. You knock on his study door and you go in. It's like, oh, you found me. Come on in. And he sits down in his gross old chair that's been there for 100 years. And he's like, I thought we'd read an excerpt from the Narniad. He calls Narnia the Narniad. Yeah.
That's
anyway,
hilarious.
It's awesome. His poetry is legitimately super rich.
What does he actually do?
He's a
professor?
No, he's an Anglican minister.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's
he's
cool.
a pastor, but he's an author.
I mean, it was obvious he was a believer. But
he's highly educated. I think his wife is an Oxford or Cambridge professor. I think that's where they met. Anyway, check out his YouTube page, Malcolm Geit, Guite. He's a good follow. It's getting me a little bit of poetry kick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I struggle with poetry.
I know, I always did, but if you hear him read it
with the right accent
and quote
I think
it just cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you got any advice for the dozens?
It would behoove you. I mean, she already did with the marriage advice, but
yeah.
I don't know how helpful that was, but It would behoove you. This is more of a serious thing, but like to have a spiritual mom or dad.
Malcolm Gite is serious. just excuse me.
Sorry.
Serious as a heart attack.
Excuse me.
No books, no
yeah.
anything, but like just to have a spiritual mom or dad, like someone that you can be totally honest with, like unrestrained, like process out all of the questionings, and then also just someone who you respect enough to show up with your quote unquote homework done from the thing that you talked about the week before. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I actually followed through because I respect you enough to show up. It's like my life shifted in such a huge way when I started meeting with people who, one, I respected, trusted, that would call me to more.
Yeah.
And that I'd be able to go after the places in my life where I was seeing unbelief or wrestling with, and to be able to process out those things out loud. Like, I mean, sometimes it's with friends, but sometimes friends can kind of be crappy at calling you on your stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
And I want people in my life who are going to call me to more, who are going to call me out when they hear something in what I'm saying that's not true.
Yeah, and if you're part of a church family, most of those churches have men and women who are ahead of you in life and following Jesus, that they don't have to be Yoda. They just have to be a couple steps ahead of you.
Oh my gosh, I have met so many incredible people within our congregation that I'm like, are you mentoring anyone? Would you like to?
Yeah.
Because they have more to offer than even they realize.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel a lot of people are like, I'm not sure if I could.
And generally the right kind of people to ask to do that are people who would want to do it.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge overlap in that Venn diagram.
Yeah.
There are people who want to, who shouldn't.
Yeah.
But like...
They're the people that say, can I mentor you?
Yes, exactly.
The mentee you ask is always, it comes from the one that wants mentorship.
Yeah. But yeah, most people, if you say like, if someone is spiritually mature enough that you would want them to help you, they're probably spiritually mature enough that they would be at least maybe they just don't have the bandwidth or whatever, but they're not going to be like offended that you asked.
Yeah, I would say that's great advice. Don't get too hung up on the language of mom or dad.
Yeah.
Like I have some of those voices in my life. I don't see them as, in fact, I prayed for a long time for like a spiritual father and never really got that, but I have voices in my life that can call me to more.
Yeah.
So
I think that's just where we kind of landed.
the language. Yeah. But yeah.
They're not really mothering or fathering, but in a spiritual sense, they're helping you grow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I would say it would behoove you to practice empathy without projection. I see a lot of times like people in an attempt to love someone else assume that person sees everything, receives everything the way they do. And so I often say, like, whatever the golden rule is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But if you want to get a little more nuanced, it should be do unto others as you would have them do unto you if you were them. Because there's sometimes the things that I would love someone to do for me or say to me or whatever, the way I'd like someone to approach something that actually is the opposite of someone else.
Yeah.
And so if you just kind of, care enough about them to want to love them, but not enough to figure out what that looks like, you can often, shoot yourself in the foot by projecting your own experience, your own opinions, your own preferences, whatever else on someone else. And
That's good.
I would say, like to truly be empathetic to someone, to truly do unto others as you would have them do unto you, involves knowing them well enough to know what that would be.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's really good. Cool.
All right. Well, Lynsey, we know God's been doing some super cool stuff in your life lately. And that's the main thing we want to talk about today. But since it's your first time on the back corner, you'll be new to many of the dozens. Can you just tell us kind of the quick version of your whole life story?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, just kind of a
just real quick.
A quick, who you are, where you came from, how you found Jesus, like the 2-minute version of that.
Yeah.
Just so people kind of have some bearing for the story that we're going to get into.
Yeah. I grew up like you already introduced me in North Carolina. Lincolnton, North Carolina.
Lincolnton.
In a small, what I would consider like a country western, not country western, but like a country small, like maybe 200 people, Wesleyan church.
Okay.
And I've been in church my whole life. Like my roots or my family, extended family, are, they love Jesus. And I was there every weekend. But I gave my heart to Jesus at CYC camp when I was 6.
CYC.
Yes,
we're heralds for Jesus. We're heralds
It's
for
cadets
him.
for Jesus.
Oh, is it?
Cadets for Jesus, cadets
Okay.
for the King. We love and serve our Savior, His great kingdom to reign.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
With
So
Christ.
I am deeply, deeply steeped and rooted in the
Were you a
Wesleyan.
Joy Bell?
I believe so.
What's that?
Joy.
Well-
that was like the youngest kids. A joy bell, a joy
There was like
bell.
CYC camp, and then they did something within the church that was also attached to
Yeah,
all of the same. Yeah.
For
But-
the 80% of the dozens that don't know what we're talking about, that's
Christian
like
Youth
a
Crusaders.
Yeah, it's like a whole program within the church.
I think like
you wore this.
a more overtly Christian Boy Scouts or Girl Guides or
we
like
had
Awana.
sashes, and we had like.
You had buttons. I didn't have any buttons.
You didn't
on my
get
sash.
your help at
I got
home?
nothing.
You didn't get your do good deeds?
It was pretty blank.
I don't think I did either because
I was not into it.
Yeah.
There's family video of me like just looking so sour on the stage.
You didn't get the Fanny
with that
Crosby
freaking
Award?
Stupid cravat or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Like I was. That's probably where my attitude problem started developing.
It's your
right
kerchief
there.
or whatever,
Goes right
yeah.
back to that day. That freaking yarmulke you had to
Yeah,
wear.
the
Like, what are we
beanie
talking
thing?
about here? Anyway.
Totally. Hey, who wouldn't want to be, encounter just a young person with a sash full of badges and like a kerchief?
I got
and
words. I got
and a
words for
yarmulke?
all that we'd have to edit. So let's keep
keep
going.
I spent my whole life undoing all of
Yeah,
this.
right? Yeah.
But so I grew up in church, encountered the Lord at a young age in ways that it was real for me. And I always felt like God's hand was on me, never questioned that, never even questioned when life stuff would happen that God was the problem. Like I just never wrestled with blaming God for anything.
Right.
And I don't know why, because my entire life I've felt like through my growing up years, like I felt like something was wrong with me. Like something just wasn't quite right. Like I didn't quite measure up. Carried a lot of shame at a very young age that made no sense. I mean, there was insecurity, there was, but there was no memory of any one specific thing that would make sense to all of the wrestlings that I had. I grew up in a great home. My parents loved me. I mean, there was some lack of intimacy and relationship with one another. It was fairly just, from the outside looking in, we're pretty solid family. I have a brother who's 5 years older than me, incredibly gifted, someone to look up to, love Jesus too. But there was some comparison, right, that really robbed me of being able to kind of step into my own.
Right.
That I mean, whether it was my parents never did anything specific that made me compare myself, but there's just that natural how we perceive things as kids, right? But then we got into school, I had learning challenges that were never diagnosed. There was in first grade, there was you might be dyslexic, but we did whatever testing for that, and that's not the case, but there was never a follow-up. And so I just spent my whole school age kind of going through school kind of going what is wrong with me? Why does my brain not work right? Or why do I feel the way that I do? And just never a safe place to feel like I could actually process out any of that stuff or find answers. But I grew up in the church, went on missions trips, every opportunity I could, involved in everything in youth group, played sports. That was my I'm a huge fan of putting your kids in sports, but it can become too much. I think I played literally everything that I could. And that's where my identity got formed.
Right.
Was chasing after, even though I had this encounter with Jesus and I love Jesus and I'm super involved in the church. I still was chasing my value and what really spoke to where my identity was church, but how good can I be? And also, or am I good? There was always that questioning. And then with sports, it was just well, I'm really good at this, so this is where I'm going to land.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to pour everything into, because people are always telling me that I'm good at this. And nothing else seemed to be the case. So, so I just, I chased after that. But, even behind all of that, it's I'm getting all this validation and all this stuff. I never felt secure. Like there was always this wrestling. There's always this shame. There's always this like undertone of like, I'm just never going to be enough.
We had, I was in a small group with probably 10 pastors. Some of the names you'd have heard of, like some pretty
Brent Ingersoll.
No, I was by far the least.
But you are by far the one that Lynsey and I have heard the most of.
There you go. Anyway, we were like having a real conversation, and some guy like opened up about father wounds, and like 40% of the group like said they had a similar experience, like with a bad dad, and here's the results. I lived with a sense of shame, a sense of like wanting to prove myself, insecurity, and then the other like 6 of us were like, we had great dads, and yet I grew up with a sense of shame and insecurity and wanting to prove myself. So maybe there's actually something in there deeper. Like, can your parents throw gasoline on it? For sure.
Yeah,
but it's
for
like
sure.
something that everybody's born with.
Yeah, like the Lord's shown me places where that shame was deeply rooted because of an encounter with someone or something that was spoken over me.
Right.
Like teachers would say things like, "Well, your brother never struggled with that." And I was like, oh,
great.
Like,
well done.
Thanks, teacher.
Right? I mean, but the thing is like I never looked at my brother and I was
What's
like,
their
oh man,
name?
he's terrible, right?
What's the name of that? What's the name of that teacher? Let's just out them right here on the air. Yeah.
But I never went home and was like, Mom and Dad, I can't believe the teacher said this, because it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, I would just come into agreement because that belief was so deeply rooted at such a young age that it was like, there was no argument for me for that, because again, I had no answers to what I was feeling or what I was experiencing.
Yeah, it's crazy how we develop. Like, I mean, I watched that in my own kids. I've given all 3 of them the same love, and all of them, build up different defense mechanisms, and one's more outgoing and one's more introverted, and like it's wild.
Kelly and I were talking the other day, and I said something to the effect of like, if someone was going to ask us to speak at a parenting conference, it would depend which one of our kids they've met. Like,
right.
Yeah, there might be some people like these people are the pros, and there'd be like maybe on a panel or about like how to survive.
What type of parenting conference?
Right, exactly. Yeah. It is like they're humans with free will.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And like a level of heart depravity that we're all born with. Yes. Right? Like,
that's
we're all
the thing.
born with it.
Like it's there, innate, like it's in us. We just often dismiss too, like generational stuff. And
for sure,
loved when Amy Howard and them were here and they were talking about like even just the influence of what could have happened while you were in the womb and being developed.
For sure,
like you don't know what was going on the outside, but just not dismissing, not being afraid of it, but just not dismissing what impact or what you might be carrying because of generational stuff. So,
for sure.
Because I mean, you look back and you're like, okay, I see, I'm a lot like this person in my life, or I'm a lot like that person in my life, and it's like, God just starts revealing that stuff as you get older. But
sorry to interrupt.
No,
I've had this really interesting kind of revelation, is a bit of an overstatement, but of my 4 grandparents, there's one that I took after infinitely more than any of my other grandparents, or to a great extent, even my parents. I always used to joke and say that she was the proof I wasn't adopted, kind of a thing, just because I took after her so much. And one of the things I realized, I mean, well into my 40s, not just my adult life, but well into my 40s, was that for whatever reason, like that includes a love of ice cream in a weird way our pinky toes turn under, but also like some of our like weaknesses and some of our maybe like kind of besetting sins and that kind of stuff is like, okay, like I don't know how that works, that I take after her in ways that are clearly genetic, but also it's not like she raised me or I grew up under her roof. We lived in a different country. Like, so I saw her regularly, like 2 or 3 times a year, but so it's just kind of weird how some of that stuff gets transmitted.
Not to oversell science here again, but like they are discovering like genes are code. Right. And so we're literally getting code written into us that we didn't, have any say in. Yeah. And,
but weird to see, like I've talked to people before who go like my dad and his dad before, but this is like not my mom. but my grandmother and me.
But who knows how that?
Oh yeah, no,
that
but
code spirals into us.
My point is just to say, it is wild the amount you get, not just from your parents, but from your ancestry in general.
Yeah. And I think that goes deeper to your point, Lynsey. Like, it's not just I'm not just the product of my parents and grandparents. Like, I mean, this stretches back centuries and centuries. Yeah. Like, I mean,
if someone doesn't come along and deal with it, and like I want to deal with the generational stuff. Like, I want to confront it. Yeah. I don't want my daughter to carry that on. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just like, God, like, whatever you want to do in me that, like, also helps break anything that could be passed on or she could have to carry into her life. Do it.
And I think that's part of how God develops us too, is like that there's also going to come a time where she in her own relationship with God is going to have to allow God to reform and renew her in him. And so
that's the thing I think is really helpful for parents to remember too. Like, as much as you are the primary discipler of your child, like we often say in youth ministry and stuff, when I was doing that, you'd often say to kids, like, you can't just live on your parents' faith. You got to have your own faith, which is true. But I think sometimes parents need to hear that. Like,
right.
You actually can't follow Jesus for your kid. No. Like, they're going to have to you can set them up to succeed in that. You can hold their hand while they do. You can try to make sure they're starting with as little baggage as possible. But some point, like, they're going to have to figure that out and embrace it for themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So keep going. Sorry, we're getting on the rabbit trails here.
No worries. So
we need a stuffed rabbit.
More taxidermy.
So God just kept showing up in my life, no matter how much I would like think about things that, I would believe the shame, I'd believe the lies that I had agreed with about myself. Like, God just continued to show up in my life and give me opportunities that just didn't make sense, like to those lies. Like, it didn't make sense that you gotta have these opportunities where as shy as I was or as insecure as I was, like, I'd be asked to stand on a stage and pray over my entire school, like actually our whole, all of the schools came together for a youth event, and Andrew Wigston was like, here, come up on stage. I want you to open the night and pray over all of these people. And it's just like, thank you, God, but also like, why me? Yeah. And he just kept putting me in these situations that would, one, stretch me, show himself to me, but also like, what in the world? Like, why are you giving me this opportunity? Like, I just could not receive it. I couldn't accept it. I couldn't understand why, but he just kept showing up in my life. He kept making, like, I always knew that he was with me. Even with all of the doubt, even with all of the wrestling, even with all of the lies that I had believed about myself. There was a point in time where I came into, like, in high school, about 17, where I was really wrestling. This is my future. I'd been given everything that I'd wanted. I had a full scholarship to go to college or university, to the Christian university that I wanted to go to. I had a full scholarship that has never been given for softball to this university. And I could have not been more terrified of my future. I was not ready. Like, I was not prepared. There was so much fear in me that, like, I was looking for a way out. I was looking for a rescue in anything that would come along. I didn't realize that was what was happening, but looking back on it, like, I know that was what was going on. But So the rescue came, and it came in the form of an older man. I mean, not a legitimate rescue, but like in my mind at the time, like I was like, okay, he was a mentor. He came as a spiritual mentor, and every insecurity, every wrestling that I had, he seemed to have an answer for it, and he seemed to have a solution for it. And everything in me, and the wrestling I was going on with, like, my family and all the stuff that was going on around me, it was just like, I just sunk into it. Because it was way better than the fear and all the insecurity and all the stuff that I was wrestling with. And so it went from being a mentorship to very unhealthy very fast. Became very toxic, very abusive. And we ended up moving in together after I graduated high school. Wow. Completely walked away. Like, I was convinced at one point that my family and everyone in my life was the problem.
And this guy was clergy?
Yeah.
You said?
He wasn't my youth pastor, but he was a youth pastor from another church. Wow. I met him on a mission trip. And I was, at the time, very vulnerable and looking for
no doubt
someone, some guidance, someone to come encourage me, someone to just like pour into my life. My family was just going through some stuff with my grandfather who had Alzheimer's, and they were just consumed with a lot at the time. And I was just like terrified of like, and the thing is, I look back and I was like, I don't even know why I was so scared.
Yeah.
Like I was literally being handed everything that I wanted. Yeah. The fear didn't make sense until like, I know now why. Like the enemy just did not. Like he was having a field day with my mind, and my life. And so, because I didn't know, no one taught me how to like deal with that stuff. Right. Yeah. I didn't understand why I felt the way I did or why I wrestled the way I wrestled. But so God delivered me. I was like, I moved in. I was like, it's 17 when it started, and I was 21 when God made a way for me to get out of it. Wow. Because I was isolated. Like once I moved in, like it was abusive.
So obviously he left his
family.
I can't. Oh my gosh.
It was like, and the thing is like, if you were to know me, like then it made no sense, the decisions I was making. Like it was all based out of fear. And like it felt safe until I was in it.
Well, now
and then it was no longer safe.
I have a 17, almost 18-year-old daughter, and she's a child. Like, yes, she's smart, and yes, she's growing up, and I think she's gonna do great things. But like, I never thought I would ever find myself in a situation like that. Yeah, and like again, there's a spiritual development component, but there's also like neurologically, like until you're mid-20s, your brain's not even done developing.
I was very much a kid.
You were a child.
Yeah, I still saw myself as a kid. Like I still saw myself like I don't even know. You're in it and you're kind of like, how am I in this? Yeah. But there was no. It was easier to stay in it than to face the shame and all of the things that I felt like I would face. I felt stuck. Left it. Yeah. Because I felt like there was no way out. Like there was no.
So how did God get you out?
How did God get me out? Well, he's so good. As much as I felt so much shame from the decisions that I had made, and just like how stuck I felt, and just how can I even turn this thing around? Like, how is this even possible?
Because that's what the enemy will do. He'll get you into a destructive space and then try to keep you there. Yeah.
Oh, and absolutely. There was no, like, even when he would leave, and then I was like, I'd be like, I'm just stuck in this place. Like, I'm just stuck in this life that I've built for myself now, or the decisions that I've made. I can't go back. Like how would I ever be able to go back? And so that's not true, but that's what I believed. And so, my friends Andrew and Joy Wigston, who I'd known, who'd come down and led youth our worship at our youth camps over the years, that relationship, it was totally like God, like just putting people in my path that I could trust, that I had built relationship with. And so when they had emailed me while I was in the middle of this thing, and they had heard about what the situation I was in. And they said, hey, like, if you ever need anything, if you ever want to get away, like, we're here. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. Everything's great. Oh, it's wonderful. My life is great. Like, thank you. Appreciate you reaching out, whatever. And then a couple weeks later, he had left. And I was like, no, like, I'm going to reach out. These are safe people. They've never done anything to me. And I just was completely honest with them about what was going on, what I was feeling, the fact that I felt stuck. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to reach out. Within weeks, God made a way. Like, I was in a lease agreement. I had all this debt. I had all this stuff going on because it was all put in my name. And so it was like, there's like literally debt. Like, I'm tied to where I'm at. But God like opened a door for me to be able to show up at a revival in my town at a football field.
Oh, wow.
As I'm sitting there going, why am I here? Because I just got in my car and drove when I heard about it. Sitting behind me is a whole bunch of my church family, my childhood church family. And the whole time I'm sitting there, God's like, it's going to be okay. I love you. and you're safe. Because there was this sense of like, I'm not safe. Not even just in that situation, but even growing up, there was just always this like weird, never feeling secure, never feeling super 100% safe. Not like physically, but just not safe and secure. So there was a call. Of course, like without even realizing I had moved, I had gotten up and walked down to the front, and the pastor from my church came down and met with me and prayed with me.
Wow. And they would have known all the stuff that was going on.
Everything.
Yeah.
Literal everything. They had reached out, they had done a lot of stuff they had attempted over the years of just trying to kind of call me back and to say, like, we love you. But then there would be other people who would try to attempt to come at it from a totally different perspective. Right. Like, how dare you do this to your parents? Like, how dare you make this decision? You've hurt so many people. So then you're like, that's the thing you hear. That's the thing you believe. So that's what I leaned into. But that night totally changed everything. My circumstances hadn't changed. Nothing had changed, but I encountered God again for I knew that everything was going to be okay.
Wow.
Within weeks, my parents, we had talked and I told them what was going on. And then I'd contacted Andrew and Joanne, and they were like, just come up here for summer. Come just like be a young adult.
Yeah.
Come just be you. Come heal. Come just get away.
Yeah.
And so I did. And my parents were all on board for it. Everyone just kind of came behind. Everything fell into place. God made a way financially, like all the things, like my landlord, who was like a jerk at the time, he just softened, and he was like, if you were my daughter, wow, I would do this. I would hope someone would do this for you. And just all of these things. And God just kept showing me like nothing is out of my reach.
Wow.
And so I landed here in New Brunswick, Canada, at what was Circle Square Ranch, Snyder Mountain Ranch, with people who just they didn't know anything about my story. And I got to heal places that I didn't think were possible. Just in connection, I met a woman pastor down the road who prayed me through some just breaking off of ties with the guy, and healed from some of that stuff. But I was still living with that shame
for sure
in ways that I didn't even realize. And I was still living with the root issue of fear and not really knowing who I was. And so instead of just sinking into the fear, now I was trying to control everything, trying to dictate everything. So there was this protectiveness that I walked in, and it was like, you're not going to hurt me.
Right.
I'm not going to get hurt again. I'm not going to be drawn into something. So then now there's this still protecting the same root lies, but in a different way. Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was to that point.
You've seen the best and the worst sides of the church and all that.
Yeah. They, through all that, there was actually an attempt, the Wesleyan church was we have a counselor. We, at one point when he left, he was like, we want to counsel you. We want to bring you in. And I went in, shared how I was doing, how I was feeling, stepped into that at one point while I was in the relationship. And they went and told my parents everything that I shared. Ugh. I had every reason to walk away from the church or walk away from.
Well, I was going to say, how have you avoided not just yeah, I mean, in a real sense, you were victimized. How have you? I've seen a lot of people who were done wrong by the church or by a pastor or by people, and they respond by almost their whole life becomes this championing my victimhood.
Right.
And I don't think that's a healthy way forward. Not to minimize the thing that happened to you. How have you, I guess, chosen or been healed in such a way that you have not just made your life's mission to just tear down maybe people who failed you through that process, your own mistakes notwithstanding?
Yeah. Like I said, there's just God's grace, everything that he set up in my life along the way spoke to his goodness. Spoke to the fact that he wasn't the problem, that people are broken and that people are messed up and they have their own issues. And these were individuals, not representation of Jesus.
Right. Yeah. People, that's sometimes when you hear people say, church hurt, it's No, the church didn't hurt you. Someone with a name hurt you, or maybe 3 people with a name.
Yeah,
But-
like I even tried to go back because at one point he had left, and this was kind of in the middle of it. I was like, maybe I can go back and do all the things that I desired to do. Maybe I could go back and be a part of missions. Maybe I could go back and do all those things. I wanted to go back and be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back, there was a guy, he lived near a church. Anyway, long story short, I was like, could I chat with you sometime? It was all done through like the pastor that was at my church at the time. It was like, could I maybe talk to him and see like what are the chances that I get back involved in all the things that like is this restoration possible kind of thing. I wanted to have that conversation because I think I put a lot of weight on that. Like it was like if I can get back to who I was,
right,
then I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I stepped into that and he had a conversation with me and I don't even remember how the conversation went. I think it was fine. But I walked away and then I heard later from a pastor that I had been in communication with, he was like, well, actually, he said that he didn't want to meet with you again because you made him feel uncomfortable. Through all these weird interactions, like I literally am sitting there like a little kid, like just really wanting like restoration to happen, wanting to step back in. And it was just like, I just kept getting confronted with, well, actually, no, you're like what I was hearing was like, you're tainted.
Right.
Like you can't step back into this. But God kept showing up, even in my workplaces. Like women would walk in, and they were like, "I don't know you, but God has a word for you."
Wow.
And I don't know how else to explain it other than to say that like I clung to who God was, even though I doubted me. Like even though I had this dysfunctional view of myself. God never changed. Like I even things about God were distorted. Like I needed to heal and deal with like who he is. But like overarching when I felt like his presence, I just knew he was good. And I knew that no matter what I was going through, it wasn't him. And so like I was somehow able to like kind of walk through that. And I'm not saying I had issues with women, like I had to work through, like I had issues over the years with different things, you know, because of encounters with people and men. Like I was almost like, should I be talking to you? Shouldn't I be talking to you?
Right.
Because that perceived who I was because
Right.
I had stepped into that thing was still
Home
kind of
wrecker.
lingering there. Yeah, 100%. Like it's like, oh, so for years I just was like, am I allowed to talk to you? Should I talk to you?
Right.
Are you going to perceive me as like some Jezebel? Like
Right.
I'm here to try to like steal your,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For
Some
sure.
real,
No,
I mean, but it's a real like
Totally.
it's a real wrestling
yeah,
that happens
no
because
doubt.
you're like, wait, like God says I'm forgiven. God says that I'm not that person. Like I know that I'm not who I was perceived to be, but will people trust that?
Yeah.
I think Christians need to get their head around the whole idea of a new creation on a way deeper level. Like I think when we hear that, you know, if anyone is in Christ, they're a new creation, the old is gone, the new has come. People think about that as a wiping clean of a slate. So it's like imagine I'm playing 9 holes of golf and I'm just horrible by the end of the 9th hole.
Triple bogeying everything.
It's like, I think people think of that as if, you know what God does? He resets your score to par.
Yeah.
So maybe you could finish strong, but I'm still a terrible golfer. It's like, no. He makes you a new thing, right? Like, it's not just your record. It's who you are. It's not just your, you know, he forgives your like, you know, you're a screw up who just hasn't screwed up yet because I wiped away your record of screw ups. Like, no, you're absolutely a new person. And I think we got to latch onto that for ourselves, but we also got to be willing to like have the courage of our theological convictions to assume the same about other people, right? Yeah. Like somebody's history is not who they are.
Yeah. People get it wrong. Like it's, you know, people do when they see you or, you know, like I can't really explain to you why. Cause I think the same thing. Like why did I not trust the church ever again or people in leadership or whatever. And I just, again, just the places that God placed me, the people he put around me to heal and to deal with all of that stuff. it was God's grace to be able to just go see it for what it was and to be able to face it. Now, that's not to say like, because right after that, I jumped right back into a relationship with someone like that. I was still chasing the same things, just a little different.
Yeah.
Because I still didn't want to be alone. I still had a really screwed up perception of myself.
Yeah.
And I still had a lot to untangle.
And I think that's another mistake we make though, of like the new creation. It's like you're born again, which means you're a baby.
Yeah.
And it means like there's a whole process of growth and you're carrying, even though you're born again and you're a new creation, you're not detached from your history, and you're carrying that forward with yourself. And so it's a whole lifelong journey and process. Yeah. You know, I don't think we're serving well in the church when we tell testimonies of, you know, I got involved with this man and blew up my life, but then I responded at an altar call at a you know, revival night and everything changed.
Yeah.
Like that's not the whole story. Like
I was rescued for real, but then that rescuing continues.
Yeah. Right.
Because I need to be rescued from myself, my flesh,
Yeah.
on a daily.
Yeah.
That's that whole, I mean, you get to start again.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't get fast forwarded to the finish line.
But that's the shameful, that's the place where shame creeps in, and people are like, oh, well, now I should be. Yeah. Oh, and that lie. Oof.
Yeah.
That was so deeply rooted. Because again, my whole childhood, it was about being good.
Right.
It was about measuring up. It's like meeting the standard that God had set out. The total lie of like, this is what I should look like, or this is what it should look like. And never really understanding the grace and the love that God had for me.
Yeah.
That, I don't want to be a jerk, but that seems to be a thing that it's common in churches everywhere, but it seems like there's something, maybe just a little extra dollop of that in the South too, eh?
Yeah.
Like very much the image, the keep up with the, you know, look right, look nice, look whatever. Like, yeah, I don't know. I wish more believers could get their head around the reality. Like when Jesus talks about your whitewashed tombs, right? It's like, no, it's actually the thing it's not about at all is looking good.
Yeah.
Right? Like if it looks good, it should be because it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the disciples. It's literally all you need to say.
Right.
It's like, how did we bypass the people that Jesus spent his time with the most when he walked this earth, and the dysfunction that they carried, and yet what he did with them, in them, and through them?
I did that message of probably, I don't know, a month ago as the time of when this will come out, but on like Peter's restoration, right? And like, Jesus said, follow me 3 years before he knew all the Peter nonsense that would happen.
Peter's gonna Peter
a lot. And then, you know, in John 21, he again says, follow me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I look at Mary and I go like, Mary, the virgin conception and birth is evidence that God cares more that it is good than that it looks good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In order to do the best thing that's ever been done, he made something that looked terrible.
Yeah.
So you did, I mean, start fast forwarding a little bit though. I mean, you moved up to New Brunswick and really did get on a kind of a different pathway for your whole life.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was only supposed to be for like a summer. I ended up staying for three and a half years at the ranch. And during that time, like actually the first weekend I was here at King's Church.
Oh yeah.
And King's became my like home base for churches. Like I would drive, you know, I'd get rides. I'd beg people, you going? I want to go.
Yeah.
Like, cause it just, as soon as I landed, I actually met Lynette Mason and Crystal Moore, and became a part of their like women's small group. Like your wife was a part of that. Like so many women, like, and I had not had good like female relationships in my life because I was a kid, and because I like spent my whole time in sports and church and just never really connected with any solid women in my life. And obviously my mentor was a guy. Like it just never landed for me. And so God began to heal that place in my life with women. And just brought some of the most incredible people that are still like just people I value so much in my world to this day. And that was a huge part of it. Like that was a huge part of healing and just, again, encountering the Lord in community. But yeah, like, so over the next so many years, the ranch thing ended, and I went to school here. In the middle of that, I started with Outflow Ministries.
Yeah.
It's just like there was a group of people, and they were meeting, and they said, "Hey, you want to be a part of this thing?" And we started doing street ministry, Uptown St. John, and met some incredible people through that. And then one night, someone brought my husband out with them to do some street ministry, and so I met Donnie. And I always qualify like he wasn't homeless; he was there to serve.
Yeah.
But the thing with that, though, is that when we started dating, I did just kind of like totally pass by the fact that he hadn't been doing life on life's terms without any substances for very long.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I dove
pretty new.
Yeah, like he was like right out of rehab.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't even remember the time frame, but maybe not even 6 months. Yeah. Yeah, I heard you guys have had some conversations.
Donnie's in my small group. It was 6 months.
It was one of those like, we're not making good choices, but we are so, in the delusion of like,
well, this is all
the
Jesus
newness.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
It was so immersed in like ministry and the heart behind what we want to see God do, where we feel God calling us to, what do we want to like, and I mean, he was reading his Bible like and praying and doing all of the things that were so attractive and so just like everything I'd wanted.
Right. Yeah.
On the kind of the outside.
Yeah.
But we went from dating to married in like 9 months.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, we're doing this thing. And it was, red flags everywhere, but you dismiss them and you think, oh, that's no big deal. Once we get married, we'll deal with that.
And then when that doesn't work, let's have a kid. That'll solve our problems.
Right?
What if we had a little project to do together for the next 18 years?
I mean, and we just tried to destroy one another out of our dysfunction. And it was the most horrific, like so many years of isolation and not telling people what was really going on and shame. Just a repeat cycle of just another place that I felt stuck. Yet on the outside, there was all this stuff I was involved in, all this stuff that I was doing, but I never felt a safe place to talk about it. Because like one, it's like, here I am again. I'm the screw up that continues to screw up in the same ways. Right. I can't tell my family that I'm now back in a situation like Donnie was gambling, all like lying about money. And, I thought when he was done with drugs and alcohol, that was it. Right? There was no other big issues that could pop up. Just not really paying attention to what was really going on. Yeah. And so we ended up, in a very toxic place with one another. Just both of us. Like he represented all the hurt and the pain from before in that previous relationship because of now I don't feel safe. Now I don't feel like I can trust you. So it was like, then he became, now you're all of the things that were a problem. And then I'm on his side, the same thing. Like he grew up in a lot of dysfunction and different things too. And now, I'm one of those women who he can't trust. And we just tried to demolish one another. But God continued to show up, place people in our lives. Like we tried our best to like isolate and keep everything under wraps. But people just kept coming along and going, hey, how's it going? Wow. Like, we love you. The women in my life, they were just like, how's it really going? And I mean, you tell a little bit, but you don't tell it all. Yeah. Right? You give a snapshot of like, I'm struggling, but like, I can't tell them that. Like, there's just too much shame in that. I mean, we reached out for counseling. We reached out. We desperately reached out to pastors like from other churches. We didn't want to reach out to because again, shame. Somebody help us, like rescue us out of this mess. And, they'd come. We just weren't ready. We really weren't ready to face honestly what was wrong. Right. And we didn't know how. But, so, Donnie got some, some help here and there. We managed to get he got some sobriety or some time in without gambling, and then it would happen again. And we kind of went through that cycle for years. And
what kind of broke the cycle?
About 2015, Adam and Julie Brewer decided they wanted to start Celebrate Recovery. And we were like, I was like, I'm in. We were in a small group at Lynette Mason's, and she was like, hey, Julie said there's this step study thing that we want to do. And that they're doing, and we'd like to do that as part of our small group. And so we dove headfirst into that as part of our small group. And God started speaking to me, and I realized that I didn't have to not be okay because he wasn't okay. That codependency, that need to I've got to fix you and us before I can be okay. And God just called me out of that and just said, no, you need to look at me. I'm your solution. And again, reminding me, I'm your rescue, not him, not you fixing him, not you seeing your marriage restored. I am the one that you need to look to. And there's just this huge call to that. It's like my eyes were opened to something, I'd been stuck in this, I couldn't see clearly. And God just kind of broke something open when I started to be honest about what was going on in my life. Yeah. And so I started dealing and going after some things, and Donnie started seeing, you're changing. You're actually, something's different about you. And he already knew about Celebrate Recovery. He had gone to one out in, there was one out, Grand Bay. Oh, that's where it was. Yeah. And he had gone to that one, and he didn't want me to go with him. So he told me that wasn't for me. Because, again, he was dealing with his own level of shame and just, what he was wrestling with. But when that step study, when we went through that shifted everything. And especially when Celebrate Recovery started, I was there the day the doors opened, and I wanted to be a part of that because I thought this is the thing that's going to shift everything for me. God's going to use this to break us free from the bondage that we've been living in. And I was really hopeful it would fix my husband. And I wasn't really seeing all the places that I needed to be fixed. Some, but not all. But when Adam and Julie started sharing openly and honestly about what they had gone through and what they were wrestling with and the things that God had delivered them from, it cracked open that whole, I don't have to be afraid or ashamed of this anymore. I can actually start sharing honestly about the things that are going on. I can tell people that it's not okay. My life is not okay right now. And I'm not going to get shunned. No one's gonna be like, well, I can't believe you did that, or I can't believe that you behaved that way.
Or take a time out.
Yeah.
So what's God been doing in your life more recently?
Oh. God,
in the few remaining moments we have.
Sorry. I there's so much. It's so hard to know. Story. There's so much more. There's so much to unpack, and it's hard to know where to go and what to say. But this is what I know, is that the enemy has, and call it what you will, has had a hold on my life since before I even have memory. That shame and that unsafe and that feeling, it was an open door. God showed me that recently in a deliverance prayer time. I got really desperate. I was like, there's something not right in my life. God's brought me through so much. I've got so much freedom in so many areas, even, just in our family. But there's just something that's just not quite right. And there was this buildup of preparation for it. There was a year or more ago, I started meeting with people regularly, going after, like I said, generational stuff, doing a lot of freedom prayer. I met every other Thursday with the lady that is mentoring me, and we would do freedom prayer, and I would share my inventory from CR with her, and she would hear the places that I wasn't quite believing what was true. And so we'd go after that. We'd find out what's the root of that? Why am I believing that? And so God would uproot that. But I was like, there's still something that I just feel really held back by. But then my husband had been off work for a year because of a back injury. And the doctors, we'd been a year or so into it, and the doctors were like, it's in your head. There's nothing medically, physically wrong with you. Yeah, you have some tissue damage, but you should be better by now. And he was being like, he couldn't sleep. He was on, I don't know how many medications. He had gone up for prayer and just nothing seemed to be working. And Colleen McNeil, we'd heard testimony of them going to Honduras and people being healed and delivered. And so she was like, maybe Donnie should, get prayed for by this person. So he set up a Zoom call and he went and he got prayed and he got healed. He got delivered from something that was, demonic and trying to take him out. That wasn't the point. The point was like God wanting to reveal himself to Donnie in a way that he hadn't seen him. And so that happened. And then my eyes became open to just the enemy schemes
Stuff's
in my
real.
life. Like this stuff, because the thing is, I had never had an encounter with that stuff. Right. Like I knew it was real, but what I really believed about it needed to be confronted. And I feel like God wanted me to see that like firsthand. Like you need to have an experience. You need to see like all the ways that the enemy's like tactics or whatever, clearly. You're not seeing them clearly. Like you're not seeing anyway. So he was delivered. My eyes were open to like, wait, like if he can be deceived, if I can be deceived like too that easily, like not being distracted by the fact of this physical stuff happening to you, but never really going, okay, God, but what else? What's going on? We were just really discouraged. Like we were super discouraged. It's like he's out of work. He's got to go back to work, but he's not healed. And then him being healed, I don't know, my eyes just became open. And so I was like, okay, there's something not quite right in our home. Like there's something going on in our home. There were weird interactions between us before that happened that didn't make sense. I felt like I was being picked on, but not necessarily by my husband. Yeah. It was like, this doesn't make sense. Why you're acting this way, why I'm responding the way I am, and why our daughter's freaking out in the other room. Yeah. And so anyway, I was like, I don't care what God wants to do. I just want him to do it. And I just got desperate. And I'm ready. Like I'm primed for God to show me what he wants to show me. I want a deeper, like I want whatever I'm not seeing correctly or rightly about him or my life. I want him to go after that and help me do it. And so Colleen was like, well, you want to set up a prayer time? And I'm like, sure. The night that I decided to set up that prayer time, it was on a Tuesday night. And that night I was ready to like, I felt so discouraged and I was in my bed crying. Donnie and I had some unexplained fight. It made no sense. We just like attacked one another, like verbally. And I went to bed crying and just like I started feeling like I wanted to quit my job. Like I wanted to I was like every condemning thought that I could ever have, I had, and it didn't make sense. I was like, there's something really wrong with this. This is not right. And I'm not an overly emotional person. I don't tend to like lean into like I don't lean into this is the devil, this is the enemy, right? Like that's just because over the years, everyone has always said, the people in my life have always said, oh, let's not go there. It's not always that. Like I've always dismissed.
Right. But sometimes it is.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it is. Like, no, is it always? No. Yeah. But sometimes, but I had leaned more into the like, let's not go there. It. Yeah. So much so that throughout my life, like I called it depression. Not saying that I never was depressed naturally. And I had called it anxiety and I'd called it fear and I'd called it all of these things. I'd called it hormones. I've called it nervous system. And again, not that those things weren't a factor,
for sure.
But to the degree, like it would hide within that. Yeah. Like it would exacerbate things and it wasn't always there. But so I went for this prayer time and basically I got called out. I was sitting in there and the whole time I'm like, no, that's just my thoughts. Nope, that's just my thoughts. And I wouldn't say it. And I wouldn't like say what was coming to mind. The guy was like, well, what's it saying? What's it saying? And I would, anyway, it ended up that this thing had been with me since this demonic presence had been with me since I was 2.
Wow.
Do I know what door was like, why the door was opened or no, but I don't need to know. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm just at peace with that and I'm okay with that. People keep asking, but I'm like, I don't need to know. Yeah. It's not important to the story.
No, for sure.
It was having my eyes open that like nothing was wrong with me.
Yeah.
That shame that I felt and the things that were in my, that I wrestled with in my mind and my thought life, all the things that voice that I thought was mine, my own internal dialogue, it's quiet now.
Wow.
It's gone.
Wow.
That condemning voice that would show up after I did something like teach or had a conversation with somebody and I'd walk away and all of a sudden I'd have thoughts like, well, that was dumb. Why'd you say that? And I just rehearse like all the conversations I had and why am I feeling like what I said was dumb? Like, or after I'd teach, while I was teaching, I'd be like, there's this constant battle going on in my mind. And I would dismiss it or I'd push it aside, and I'd continue on because God called me to do this. And I believe what I'm saying. Like, I know scripture. I know all these things. Like, and I've tried to go after that voice. Like I've tried, take every thought captive. Like,
right.
But it wouldn't go away until that night.
That's incredible.
So cool.
Yeah, man.
There's this, I've had opportunity to be involved in some spiritual warfare-y, deliverance-y kind of stuff lately. And one of the scriptures the Lord keeps bringing to my mind is the idea that Satan is the accuser of the brethren, or the sistren, as the case may be. And I think a lot of times we think about like, okay, well, who's he accusing us to? And well, he must accuse us before God. Or it's like, how's that going to work? God knows.
Yeah.
It's like, I think he accuses us to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's the, like, I think people underestimate how much of that, like, again, there is such a thing as negative self-talk, but sometimes it's like, no, it's negative somebody else talk in your head.
But because it had been with me for so long.
Totally. You don't know it's not normal.
So deceived because it was my own, and like, everything made sense. Like it did, like what it would say made sense.
Yeah. It didn't tell you should stop robbing banks.
Sometimes I say stupid things, you know. Yeah, sometimes I don't always do things well. Like, but it was so familiar that I just, and again, it was like, yeah, well, you were tired. That makes sense. Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, you were hormonal because all this stuff's going on in your body. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I think those accusations about a specific thing eventually sink down into understanding of who you are.
Yeah.
And that becomes a lie you're buying into, right? And that's, the father, Satan is the father of lies, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so anytime that the devil or, his henchmen can get you to believe a lie about you or about God or about you in relationship to God, he's winning.
And we're pretty much out of time, but I would say just like to encourage Christians to like get the Hollywoodification of deliverance out of your mind and open yourself up to the fact that we're on assume you have demons, assume you have spiritual beings that are assigned to you and they're trying to destroy you. Like it's not just hyperbole in the Bible. Like Satan is prowling around like a roaring lion, looking for whom he may devour. There are spiritual beings that, know you very well. And if they have space and opportunity, they will hang with you and hang on you. And, I would just say it's important for Christians to recover a theology, maybe not a theology, but like a worldview, an understanding of deliverance and the spiritual warfare and bondage that we all are in. And part of sanctification is this process of being unbound. Like he who the Son sets free is free indeed. And I think, if this has been very encouraging, Lynsey, but I think pastorally, if people could hear, like you've been serving in ministry, you've been working at CR, you've been around church your whole life, like this is a Christian thing. This is not for the pagans that, oh, you're full of demons. Like, no, Christians, we're under the influence of demonic powers all day, every day. Like
I feel like it's one of those things, like in a war, you've got like your battle lines and you're definitely meeting the enemy at the battle lines. And sometimes the enemy gets behind the lines.
Yes.
And so like losing a lot of sleep over terms like possession versus oppression versus what. It's like, dude, whatever it's doing, it needs to stop. It's on the other team.
It's not anything like what that was part of the problem. Is like I had a very Hollywood idea and a very just distorted view of what it looked like for that, and that's why I dismissed it. Yeah. That's why it's because like I thought it needed to look like, but it's true. Like we just think, oh, if it doesn't look like this, then it's not that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't chase the demonic in everything that you see. Like not every health issue, not everything, but you know what? It's okay to not dismiss it.
Yeah.
It's okay to God,
cover your bases.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Again, the enemy is like, I think a lot of times, again, when people think of demonic stuff, they think of being under control, like in some overt, like I woke up 20 miles away from home with blood all over me. Like
it was
very
calm.
Influence. It's influence.
It was a very calm experience, very psyop, peaceful, because God is still on the throne and He's still in control. And
totally.
Beauty.
Well. Let's do the fastest top four. We are way out of time. Let's do a good top four to wrap things up.
So today's Mountain's top four comfort foods.
All right.
Comfort foods. Let's say you've had a long, hard day. Maybe you just went through an exorcism.
Yeah, you've just been freshly delivered. What are you going to
you need a little snack.
What are you going to eat?
Comfort foods. What do you got, Brent?
The whole anything in that would taste good in a kettle or like a cauldron of sorts. Like you got your chilies, your stews, your chowders.
Yeah.
Chowder. That's good. That's a good comfort package. Bacon and eggs on like a rainy or cold day or in the, obviously breakfast. Dates and peanut butter. I've referenced this many times before, but I like just sitting down and that. And then I find pizza's comforting.
Yeah.
Just good old-fashioned pizza.
I do love a good pizza. Lynsey, I expect this to be spectacular based on your southern roots.
Cracker Barrel?
No, man. I actually don't even like Cracker Barrel. They get it wrong.
Chicken and biscuits?
They get the southern stuff wrong. I grew up with an incredible grandmother who cooked everything from scratch. Fatback. It's basically deep-fried pork fat. But anyways,
fat.
We just eat it like chips,
Yeah.
Like honestly, anything that she cooked from scratch, I still like. I've made occasionally, but just like a southern breakfast, like
biscuits and gravy and grits.
Biscuits and milk gravy is what we call it. It's like hamburger gravy or sausage gravy. Liver mush. No, knock it till you try it. It's good.
Nope, I'm gonna knock it.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I grew up on it, and it's so good. It's like
by any chance the first time you taste that when you were 2?
No, we won't go there. But anything like that. Chicken and dumplings. It's a favorite. Anything my mama makes.
My mama can make good food. Yeah.
I mean, that didn't quite get passed on to me, but I do my best.
The South,
you've been in the North too long.
The South's complete and total disregard for what this food will do to your body in lieu of what it will do to your heart.
Oh, man.
Your
all the butter.
Heart. Yes.
All the butter and all the fat. Every way you can get it in there. That's what makes it best.
Yeah. What do you got?
I've mentioned these before. This is my current kick. Peanut butter and honey wrap. It's a good time. Chocolate chip cookies. I got an issue with chocolate chip cookies.
Dude, especially if they're moderately warm.
Yeah, and soft and chew. Oh yeah. Ice cream. I love ice cream.
Yeah.
It's more of a summer comfort food. And then ginger beef. Like Chinese ginger beef. I haven't found good stuff around here yet. We tried some the other day from a place. It was terrible. But ginger beef, kind of hot, spicy. It's like meat with goo, kind of Chinese, classic. Like, like little light breading on it, and then it's just in like a vat of sweet, delicious goop.
Yeah, no.
Love it.
That's going to be a hard no.
Yeah. Love it.
All right, gang. Well, it's been fun. Thank you, Lynsey.
Thank you, Lynsey.
That was a powerful story. So we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, for 58.
We're almost there. We're almost
home stretch of the season. Send in your questions.